to Bad Larry.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Bad Larry Kingdom. I'm your host, Bad Larry, and today we are concluding the very final episode and the very final part of the Inferno tie-in series with Damage Control number 4. Now, after reading this comic, I was debating even uploading it, but the completionist in me said, hey, we went 38 out of 39. You can't just leave this last one hanging out there. And the people are going to wonder, well, what happened to 39? Well, here it is. You'll see. You'll see. So what we have on this cover, as we always do, we got to rate the cover. I gave it a 40%. You got Wolverine on the front cover. From far away, you're like, what's this on his face? Well, it's pie. Doesn't really look like pie. Is it like lava? It's not really well defined. Number 2, this costume he's wearing on the cover, that's not what he's wearing in the issue. You know, I don't like clickbait, so this cover is like a little bit of clickbait. I don't know why they didn't draw the actual costume that he's wearing inside the issue, but you know, that's a problem to me. And then number 3, you see all of the other characters running away. I never like to see the backside of a cover of a character on the cover of a comic. Show me the front view. I never like to see the backside of people, especially so small. And then where's the rest of it? There's no background. There's just an orangey, peachy color. Where's the background details of the cover? It is a total fail. It feels like the artist drew it, didn't finish it, and they're like, well, let's just throw it out there anywho. And the only reason it's a tie-in is because at the top right it says Inferno continues interminably, meaning kind of forever. And that's really the only tie-in. This is a little 4-issue miniseries. This is the last of the 4. I don't think you really needed to read 1, 2, and 3. I don't know. I don't think there's a continuity problem with it. As far as the cover goes, in my opinion, it's a fail. So how is this issue a tie to Inferno? Well, on the left-hand side, because of all of the chaos that Inferno has caused, the X-Mansion, the Xavier Mansion, the X-Men Mansion, whatever you might call it, has been utterly destroyed. You see some robot arms coming up, and what these robot arms are is the Danger Room attempting to rebuild itself. Because it's an advanced technology, it understands that as the X-Men go in and destroy things inside the Danger Room is looking to repair itself. Obviously, since everything is destroyed, the Danger Room is going out and stealing other materials from other places and trying to rebuild itself. Well, these two cops are like, well, you know, we better figure out who's stealing all these materials. They don't know it's the Danger Room. Or else it's their ass. Their ass is on the line unless they find these materials that are being stolen. These cops' asses are on the line. So who do they call? You know, they gotta call Damage Control. And who is Damage Control? Well, you're gonna find out here in a second. So Damage Control is a clandestine cleanup crew. Very exciting. You got Robin Chapel, the lady, she's some manager. Then you got Lenny Ballinger. Hey, he's like, look at an old guy smoking a cigar. You know, he's a foreman. He's trying to do the absolute least as possible. That's why he's got his hands in his pockets. And you got Gene with the cowboy hat and the weird shirt. He's a definite nerd, science nerd. He likes to put stuff together. You got your intern Bart with the red hair and the freckles, and you'll see his hair length varies from kind of short to medium short to long. Then you got your good looking face guy, John, with the nice hairdo and the suit. And these guys go and get contracts to clean stuff up, like the X Mansion, and no one has to know anything about what they did. They're just like a very secretive cleanup crew. So here's the problem, the reason why John's always grabbing people up is everybody seems to not see the destruction that John has seen. It's clear as day that the whole place is destroyed, but Lenny, Robin, Gene, everybody is looking around like, oh, this place is just fine, no big deal. Well, you'll find that they've been, their minds have been manipulated by Professor X to only see the place as fully functional and not destroyed. The only one who didn't get mind melted was John. So we're going to go back into the past and we're going to see that the damage control team had come and made a contract with Professor X previously to do some repairs on the X Mansion, and he signed a contract. And when they went there, you see the old nerdy guy. What's his name again? Oh, Gene. Gene, the old nerd, decided he was going to go into the Danger Room Control Center, and he starts fiddling with some stuff. Well, this is why Professor X had to meld their brains, their memories. So just a reminder, we are in the past prior to the Inferno event, and Damage Control is in there doing some clandestine repairs. Wolverine here offers the foreman guy a beer, and he's like, oh, sure, no problem. And the poor guy walks into the danger room unawares that the door is locked. Gene is up there fiddling with the wires, and now the foreman is going to be fully in the danger room. He gets attacked by the danger room. He's all head in his ass, all twisted up. Wolverine has to come in and cut him down. And then here's where the problems start. We see Groucho Marx is coming. He's part of the Danger Room program. Someone has programmed a little comedy show to interact as the enemies for the next battle. So that's the point of the Danger Room. They input the enemies, and then the X-Men go in and fight them. Well, right now the enemies are the classic slapstick comedy people like Groucho Marx and then the Three Stooges, etc. It's a bit of a cluster F, but this is what we see. And then going back to the cover, Wolverine is in his brown costume. Everybody knows this costume. Why isn't he in his brown costume on the cover? I don't know. Again, just another reminder, the events of this particular event that we're watching right now with Wolverine and Damage Control, this has happened well in the past before Cyclops left the X-Men. This is a long time ago, and we're just seeing how Damage Control wound up interacting with the X-Men in the first place, how they got this initial contract. So the X-Men were called in by Professor X. You see Groucho Marx is getting released, but he's part of the program. Wolverine gets a pie in his face. It's all very fun and games. But Professor X calls in the X-Men team, and they're kind of locked in the danger room right now, and they're going to have to battle the slapstick comedy. So instead of battling Magneto or Apocalypse or the Marauders or other enemies that the X-Men have, They're battling slapstick comedy. That's what this is about. Gene of Damage Control, who messed up the computer in the first place, is trying to fix it along with Professor X because it's got all this Shi'ar technology. Again, the reason why Professor X at the end of this episode has to wipe the memories of Damage Control because they're not supposed to be knowing about Shi'ar technology. Anyway, Professor X tells Cyclops, turn off the, shut her down. And Cyclops is like, cool. He hits the button, but that doesn't work. The button doesn't work. Kitty Pryde, whenever she phases through electronics, it's supposed to shut it down, but it isn't. She's battling clowns. The other X-Men are trying to come in. And what I don't like, if you look in the right-hand side, that last bottom left page, why is Wolverine so humongous? The artist drew him so big when he's supposed to be really, the smallest character on the team. It's an odd page. Another odd situation we have here is Rogue is still in her Freedom Force costume or look because she's got the real short hair, the thinner kind of stripe that goes all the way down the back of her head, and then it's very odd that this little this gun pierces her skin all the way through. So apparently she's less invulnerable in this as normal because boy, that arrow goes right through her. And Robin tries to come over and help Rogue out, and Rogue's like, don't touch me. And Robin gets a real attitude like, fine, whatever. And, she doesn't know that if she touches Rogue, Rogue is going to absorb her personality. But, I mean, how rude of Robin to be like, oh, fine, just bleed then. Well, you got to know. You can't just go up and start touching mutants. You don't know what their powers are. Rogue's bleeding everywhere. Let the other mutants take care of it, okay? Your job is to fix the facility, not administer first aid to the superheroes. Anyway, Rogue is still clearly not that damaged. She kicks the head off of the robot that shot her, and then, Nightcrawler has to zap his robot. He thinks it's all fun and games. He kind of thinks it's a joke. A lot different of a personality than when he was with Excalibur, where he seems so serious. So I do kind of like this version of Nightcrawler, where he's kind of just laughing and joking around. The worst line of the whole comic, Storm tells Nightcrawler to go limp. Said no female ever. Anyway, Storm gets popped in the face for that. The old slapstick comedy has got Nightcrawler, it's got Wolverine, it got Rogue, it's gotten Storm, and now it's getting Colossus. The Groucho Marx hands Storm a bomb, and Colossus is like, oh, get that bomb, kablooey, right in his face. And my favorite part of this whole comic is that Wolverine got pied in the face, Colossus got embarrassed, Storm got embarrassed, Nightcrawler got embarrassed, Rogue got embarrassed, but guess who didn't get embarrassed? My man Cyclops. They tried to pie him. He's like, nah, y'all ain't embarrassing me. I'm the leader of this team, baby. Bling, blang, blang. Zip, zap, zap. I'm blasting all these pies. And the poor old black fella gets pied in the face instead. Cyclops is like, sorry, you gotta be head on a swivel up in the danger room, fella. Even Shadowcat gets embarrassed and gets got. She tries to reach in and gets the old mousetrap on the finger snapola. That smarts. And then Storm is starting to get pissed. She starts zapping old Groucho Marx to a crisp, but because he's a little program, he comes back, and then he decides to, okay, I guess game's over. They've shut it down. As the X-Men and Damage Control take a little breather, look at this left-hand side, that left-hand page. Look at the absolute size of Wolverine. He makes Rogue look like she's 3 feet tall, or he's the same size as Colossus. Why is Wolverine drawn so big? The proportions are way off. Anyway, so Damage Control did their job. They've sorted everything out. They got the contract, but Professor X can't let them leave, remembering their whole little battle. They can't remember for so long all the Shi'ar technology until there's a point when they do. And here on the right hand side, the black fella starts remembering, and now he can see that the whole place is in rubble. And like I said earlier, the intern with the red hair, now all of a sudden his hair is long down his back. So the artist here didn't get his proportions right at all in this issue. So their whole point was to reclaim all of the lost material that the Danger Room machine arms were stealing. So they shut off the main power to the building. Damage Control did to the X Mansion, which shut off the Danger Room arms. They were able to reclaim all of the stolen materials. And you'll see over on the right hand side, John is shaking hands with the black cop. Oh, how'd you do it? How'd you find all the material? And then John's like, it's confidential. It's confidential. We gotta put the customer first. We can't be spilling the beans. And then, that's it. They didn't even fix the darn X Mansion. All they did was reclaim the material that the Danger Room had stolen. The end. So, as corny as this comic book is, I still rated it a 80%. It's better than average in terms of what Dwayne McDuffie was given in terms of the parameters that he had to write a story in. And also, RIP to Dwayne McDuffie, who died back in February of 2011. This may be the first issue of his that I've ever read. And maybe I'm being a little biased because, he's passed now. And, given the idea that Stanley tells Dwayne, hey, you got to write an issue, tie it in with the X-Men, make it about a cleanup crew. And Dwayne's like, oh, man, I don't want to write this. He's like, you got to do it. And so this is what Dwayne had to do. He had to pay that bill. So he had to do what Stan Lee told him to do. And this is the issue that they put him on. So I think that he did the best that he could with what he had available, the characters that he had available. I like that he embarrassed everybody except Cyclops. Shadowcat, Wolverine, Colossus, Storm, Nightcrawler. Everybody got a slap on the face, or a punch, or a pie in the face, or zapped, or bopped, or your Rogue got seriously injured. The only one that came out unscathed or unembarrassed was Cyclops. And I think that Dwayne actually wrote himself in the comic. He was the black guy, so he got himself a little pie in the face. Now, the artist on this issue, I did kind of knock it down a little bit because of the art. You got to get them proportions right, man. Wolverine looking like he's 8 feet tall. You know he's only 5 feet tall. You got to account for that when you're making your pages. And then draw the cover to match the costume that's going to be inside the actual pages. Don't give me this sleeveless all black outfit when he's in his brown outfit. Include the other X-Men. I mean, the cover was bad. But for a one-time read, you're sitting on the turlet. You're like, oh, I've read pretty much everything. Oh, what is this? Damage Control, never heard of them before. Am I going to read issue 1, 2, or 3? Nope, I'm not going to do it. But, because this had a little tie-in, I had to. I had to complete the series. It really didn't tie in, other than the fact that the mansion was destroyed and we saw the damage control team interact with Professor X way in the past. Um, and, they revisited the site, which they didn't remember until the final page. But as far as the issue goes, it's a B, barely. Um, would I recommend it? Sure. Read it once when you're in a good mood and you're not going to be so critical about everything, and it's a fun little read. But other than that, the Inferno series is over. We did it, people. We did it. We completed the 39 issues of the tie-in. Wow. You would think, at $5 right now, $5 a comic. If you were gonna have 40 comics, you're getting into some pretty big bucks there. You know, you're looking at $200 to complete all these tie-ins. So I saved y'all all that money by putting this Inferno series together. So for that reason, give me that like, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for more X Factor, more Spider-Man, more. I think I'm gonna be dropping some Moon Knight coming up. We're gonna be going back to some Dracula. We're going to be doing some Dracula coming up because it's spooky season. That's why I only did the 2, because I launched them a little early, but I want to see that first appearance of Blade. So stick with me, folks. We still got a lot of cool stuff coming out. Until then, love ya. Be good to one another. Peace.